Well, guys, my name is Scott, and I come from a zoo called Animal Adventures. And I've been here before. Yeah, I've got to visit here before.
My name is Scott, too.
Your name's Scott. You have a great name. Yes?
I've seen you at Jack's birthday party.
You did, yes. Did you have fun? Who was your favorite? Do you have a favorite animal? Do you remember?
Yeah. You're snake.
The big one? All right. Well, guys, today, see, our zoo's going to come and visit for like 4 weeks. But today we're going to talk about animals called nocturnal. Have you ever heard that word before?
Yes.
What's it mean? Yep. Do you know what it means? Oh, it's okay. How about right here?
An animal that hunts at night and sleeps at day.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to hunt, but it's awake at night, right?
Can I just ask you a question?
Yep.
Is Natalie here? Is Natalie here?
Okay. Yep. So nocturnal, all it means is just a big fancy name for animals that stay up all night. So that's what we're going to look at tonight, or this afternoon. Some of these animals that live that way. Are you ready to do it? All right. You guys, if you've been to one of our shows before, do you remember all the rules?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to get to touch some of the animals, not all of them, but if I let you touch them, could we poke in their eyes? Could we pull their ears? Their tails? Could we touch them in a nice way, like a dog or cat? Yeah, we can do that, right? And the other thing is they do have yucky germs, so when we're all done, we need to wash up, okay? And I brought hand
An
sanitizer.
animal that you can't touch, a tarantula, because they have these like fur leggings that go out by night.
Yeah. All right, are you guys ready to meet my friends? Oh, you got a question?
I can't use that because I have fear.
That's okay too. If you can't use it, but make sure you wash your hands with something after touching animals, okay? Is that okay? All right? Okay. My first friend, her name is Miss Lily, and she's a nocturnal animal, but she's tiny and green. What do you think she might be? Yep.
Frog.
She is a frog. Let me get her. Hey, Miss Lily. Hey, sweetheart. Oh. Now, can I tell you something funny? Last year, when I came to visit, I brought Miss Lily, and you know what she did?
Peed.
She did, remember? It was the girl that had the dress on.
Yeah.
Yep. And she did. Now, guys, Miss Lily is a tree frog who comes from a faraway place called Australia. Have you ever heard of Australia before?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's far away, right? And that's where she lives. Now, where she lives, she doesn't live in the desert, or she doesn't live in the grassland, but she lives in, yes, trees, that's right, in the rainforest. And the trees that she lives in are taller than this ceiling. You see how tall that is? So she lives way up in the tree. So for her protection, watch what she can do. She can go all the way upside down if she has to. See how she can stick like Spider-Man? See? Yeah, she's good at holding on. That way, when she's way up in the tree and the wind blows and shakes the tree, she won't fall out. You doing okay, sweetheart? Now, we can't touch her because do you see how she looks slimy? She is slimy. She has very thin skin. And that slime is her protection from yucky germs. And if I let you guys touch her and we took that slime away, she could actually get sick. She could even die. So we don't want to do that, right? And that way, if you guys catch frogs or toads, you shouldn't touch them a lot because if you take the slime away, they'll all get sick like that. Yes. Now, have you ever seen a baby frog?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do they call them? They look, yes.
What did you say?
Baby frog. What do they call them? Do you remember? Oh, how about down here?
Aren't there some small things called spiders? No,
Well, there are some tiny frogs called string peepers, but the babies...
Tadpole.
Have you guys heard of tadpoles before? Yeah, that's just a baby frog. And what do they look like? Fish, right?
Yep.
And they live in the water. Well, Miss Lily... Oh, I'm sorry. Yes?
My sister and I have seen a
You saw what? I'm sorry.
tadpole.
You saw a tadpole in the stream? Is that... I'm sorry. Is that what you were saying? Oh, it's Stony Brook? Did you watch it change into a frog over time, or did you just see it? Okay, because when I was a little boy, I caught tadpoles, and I used to raise them and watch them change into frogs, and it's pretty cool. So what happens is, yes?
The tadpole, it wasn't really a tadpole, it kind of had legs.
Yeah, and that's part of the change. They have the legs, okay, the legs grow, the tail gets absorbed and disappears. But it's pretty awesome to watch and to see, and maybe if you guys don't get to see it, some of the books have some really good pictures. Now, what Miss Lily does, instead of climbing down, can you imagine she lives in a tree taller than that? And instead of climbing down and looking for a river or a pond or a stream for her babies, she does something really cool. She takes a leaf about this big, and with her little sticky fingers, she rolls it into the shape of a cone, like an ice cream cone. You guys know what I mean, right? That cone shape. And way up in the tree, she fills that cone full of her eggs. Now, once it's full, she's right there, and she can watch and protect her eggs. But what happens is when her babies hatch, way up in that tree, they wiggle out of the egg, they shoot out of the cone, and she left a little hole at the end. So they shoot out of the cone, and Miss Lily has figured out where to point it, so when her babies fall out of the tree, they're going to fall where the water is. Isn't that awesome? That's pretty cool that she does that for her babies. Because people ask me all the time, how smart are these little guys? And that's pretty smart. Hi, you missed all the introduction. My name is Scott. I'm from Mr. called Animal Adventure, and this is Miss Lily. We were just talking about, she's a tree frog. And guys, doesn't she do something really amazing for her babies? Way up in the tree, she makes a nest out of a leaf about this big that she rolls into a cone shape, fills it full of eggs. And what happens then when her babies hatch, guys? Just tell her.
They pop out and then she makes it like into a like toward the pond so the babies can fall.
That's right. The trees she lives in are taller than the ceiling. Her babies fall where the water is. I think that's amazing.
I'm not sure she peed.
Now, Miss Lily happens to be my personal frog that I brought into the zoo because I was hoping she'd get married and have lots of babies. But girl frogs like this, do you know how they find a boyfriend? Yeah. It's okay. Yes?
They call like.
You're right. The boys sing a song. Have you ever heard a frog sing a song? What do bullfrogs say? That's their song. That's the boys singing for her girlfriend. So Miss Lily, she hasn't found a boy who sang a good enough song for her yet, so she hasn't got married. But that's what the frogs do when they sing their song. They're looking for a girlfriend. All right, Miss Lily, you ready to go back? Can you guys say goodbye to Miss Lily?
Bye, Miss Lily.
All right.
Oh,
hi. Did you just come in? My name's Scott. We were just talking about Miss Lily the frog. Now my next friend is another nocturnal frog, because Miss Lily is active at nighttime. And you guys who just came in, you guys know what nocturnal means, right? It's just a big fancy word for staying up all night. Are you guys nocturnal?
sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, right? Some of us are. If you stay up and watch a movie or have a sleepover with some friends. But this is a friend named Jabba. Have you ever heard that name before?
Yeah, I know Jabba is a bullfrog.
Let's see.
Whoa.
There we go.
He's
He is big, right? Now Jabba, you might call him a big fat frog. Now he is big. Now guys, I'm a big guy, and it's because I eat too much and don't exercise enough. But Jabba here is actually big because he's designed this way. It's not because he's a lazy frog or eats too much. What he has to do, he comes from Africa, and the water there disappears for a long period of time. So he needs to be big like this because he has to take a nap for half a year. Isn't that crazy? So when the water disappears, as it's disappearing, he's going to dig a hole really deep in the ground, and then he's going to make a cocoon out of his skin, okay, and the mud. He'll mix it all together, and he'll make a cocoon, and he'll go to sleep, like I said, for half a year. Now what will happen is when the rains come back, and it seeps down through the ground and touches this cocoon, he's going to break out. He's going to dig to the top. And guys, if I was sleeping for half a year, I think the first thing I'd be thinking about is food or something to drink, right? But not Jabba. When he wakes up, he starts to sing a song. And the reason is, he has to get married and have lots of babies really fast. Well, the water's still there because the water's going to dry up in half a year. So that's the first thing he does. Now, he scares me sometimes when I come into the zoo because his song is really deep. And sometimes when you're not expecting it, it's dark in the zoo, it scares you. And it's like, so he has a really deep voice. But he doesn't have a girlfriend yet. Now, do what? Well, you know what the problem with him is? He'll eat anything smaller than him that goes in front of his face. Isn't that crazy? So a little frog comes hopping around, he doesn't care, he's going to reach out and grab it. Now, have you seen on TV or books, have you ever seen a frog zap a fly way out here with his tongue? Yeah, and most frogs do. A lot of them have that long tongue. He doesn't. But he's one of the few frogs that actually has teeth. And that hurts when he bites. It's pretty sharp. And that's how he catches his food. Now these little feet aren't good for helping him hop, but they are good for digging. So he has these little diggers. Yes?
I saw Jabba before.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah. At the party, right? Yeah, because I brought Java to the party. Yes.
I've been to Africa.
Oh, you have?
And it wasn't really as bright because I was like in the place where there's all these houses. But I went to like this like place where we saw all these animals, like lions.
Did you get to go on a safari and go see all the animals
Yeah,
like that?
I got to go on the safari, and it was pretty dry.
Was it pretty dry when you went? Did you get to, oh, he might pee on me here in a minute. Did you get to see any really cool animals?
Yeah, I got to see a lot of
Did you see lions?
yeah, and I saw a ton of elephants because I stayed at like this place where you have your own house,
Yeah.
and there was waterfall behind us.
Oh, so they came in for drinking?
Yeah, and we were sitting outside, like playing in our trails.
That's pretty awesome, because I've always wanted to go do that. That's pretty awesome that you get to do that. Yes.
Once in my side yard, I saw a brown frog, and me and Melanie got to touch it.
Did you catch it?
Yeah.
How big was he?
He was pretty small.
Like that big or smaller? Yeah. Isn't that awesome, though, when you can go in your own yard and see animals? That's pretty cool. Yes.
I go to this dinosaur place once.
You did? Did you see some dinosaurs or bones?
He saw bones.
Isn't that awesome? That's one of the, do you guys like dinosaurs at all?
And
I love
I
dinosaurs.
had to see big dinosaurs.
You saw some fake ones too?
There's this lava thing, and like water sprayed out of it.
That's pretty funny. So it looked like lava, like the volcano was exploding,
And it flowed.
and it flowed out. Because I'd hate to be really close to a real volcano, right?
Really big pond where it was a really big pond.
Oh wow, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, it sounds like it would be lots of fun. Wow, that's really awesome. All right, now Java, because we're back on nocturnal animals. He's active at night, and the reason that frogs are usually active at night is because when the sun comes out, that slimy stuff they have to protect them will dry out. So they have to come out when it's moist at night and try to be active then. Plus, most of the hunting animals, that way they can hide from them. The daytime hunting animals won't see them. So that's part of the good thing about being nocturnal. All right, guys. Everybody, Java. Isn't that a good name? That's what he looks like to me. He looks like Java. Hi, guys. Yeah. Hi, my name's Scott, and we just met a couple frogs. We're talking about nocturnal animals, animals who stay up all night. And this is Java. He's a big pixie frog from Africa. And we were just putting him away. All right, say goodbye to Java again. Bye, Java.
Bye, Java.
All right, now, my next friend is named Puffy. Puffy, not puppy, Puffy with an F. His favorite letter is the letter S. What sound does that make?
Snake.
Snake. He is a snake. And I was thinking when I bring them out, we'll say hello to a snake. So how would you say hello to a snake? Just like that. Perfect. So I'll count to 3, and we'll say hello to Puppy and Snake, okay? All right, are you guys ready? All right. 1, 2, 3.
I wasn't a king snake.
Oh, yes.
I know why you're speaking on this tongue.
Oh, yeah, why is that?
That's how he can confuse you.
Well, you're close.
I mean, smell.
Smell, that's right. Is that what you guys are going to say? That's right. He has a nose, but he smells with his tongue. Now, I brought him talking about nocturnal animals. Yes.
Why is it the top of him like pattern and then the bottom of him different?
That's a good question. Did you guys all hear that? Why is the pattern this way on the back and different on the belly? Well, he crawls on the ground, so the animals up high will be looking down at him. And this snake comes from Oklahoma and Texas. I grew up in Oklahoma, and I used to hunt these snakes. And they're hard to see because where they hang out is where there's leaves and sand. And so this is really good. What's the word when you blend in and you're hiding from them? Yes?
Not camouflage.
Camouflage. Yeah, you were thinking, yeah. I know. Isn't it funny, all those big fancy words? But camouflage, that's his camouflage for hiding from the other animals. Now, he's called a hognose snake. I don't know if everyone can see his nose. Let me get to where you can see it. Do you see how his nose is turned up?
I think I smell like
It's kind of, it points up like that. It's like a pig nose, and that's where he gets the name hognose. It's for digging. Now, his favorite food happens to be toads. Have you guys ever caught frogs or toads before? You told me you caught a frog, right?
I caught.
Have you caught some before? Did they do anything really gross when you picked them up?
Yeah.
What do
One
they do?
peed on me.
And that's usually what they do. Guys, the reason a frog or toad will pee on you when you first pick it up is they're hoping that if you're a hungry animal, let's just pretend you guys were hungry animals and you had a frog in your mouth and you peed, what would you guys do?
Spit it out.
Yeah, you'd spit it out, right? Go, ah. So that's usually the first thing they do.
That
But
animal
they
sticks
does.
on his nose.
Yeah, he does. Her name's Coconut. She's just checking you guys out. But guys, back to what we were talking about. If a frog pees on you and it doesn't work and you don't let go, they do something else. They blow up with air. And they try to look really big. Okay? Well, what's fascinating, do you guys know that snakes have to swallow their food whole? Did you guys know that? And the reason is, inside their mouth they have 50 to 100 needle-sharp teeth. And all their teeth are curved like fish hooks, like that. That's how they hold on. Just a second. And because their teeth are like that, they can't chew the food like us, and that's why they have to swallow it whole. Yes, did you have something to share?
Once, my dad took me and my sister outside at night, and we saw a snake that was eating a mouse.
Was eating a mouse? Yeah, and that snakes, a lot of snakes like to hunt at the nighttime. Yes?
Once I saw a snake on my plant, on my bush.
On your bush? Yeah, and that's another animal that we can see around us, are snakes. Yes?
When I was in Africa, I went to this place where there was it was a place where all these her animals were.
Oh, were they rescued and helped in the animals?
And
Yeah?
one of them was a snake that it was pretty long, and when it moved, it looked like there were little feet walking across because of the pattern.
Oh, yeah. And that's cool how they do that, right? Yes.
Once I saw gardening.
Yeah, and gardener snakes are another name for them is garter or garden snakes. They're the same. Yes, go ahead.
Once I saw a snake shit.
That is pretty cool because that's part of how they grow. Now, guys, let me get your questions because I just remembered when you asked about why it's two different colors, and I just mentioned how this is camouflage. The belly is different. The belly's different because it has bigger, different scales. And the scales are like little rectangles, and that's what he uses to crawl and help pull him across the ground. So that's why he's different underneath than on his back. I forgot that you asked that, so I'm glad I remembered that. Yes?
Did you know there's actually one kind of rattlesnake in Massachusetts?
There is. There's a timber rattlesnake. And you know what? It's actually, if I use the word endangered, do you guys know what that means? Yes.
It means that there's not that many left.
That's right. There's not that many left. They're in trouble. And can you believe a rattlesnake is in trouble and needs our help?
They're very poisonous.
Yes, they do have poison. Now, I have to tell you, I've worked with a lot of rattlesnakes. Timber, that's what we have called timber, or another name people call them are canebrakes. They're one of my favorite rattlesnakes. Some of them are really pretty with yellow and black. Very pretty snakes, but they are dangerous, and they are in trouble. In Maine? Yeah, I imagine, right? Yes. Oh, well, that's okay. That happens sometimes. Yes.
My dad lived in California, and one time when he was at this lake, he saw, and there's like these rocks that were like in the lake, and he jumped over one, and he saw like a rattlesnake, and he was about to jump on the rattlesnake because he didn't even know it was there, and then he just looked over at it, and he just ran away very fast.
Yes.
Once I was at my cousin's friend's lake, and there was a water snake swimming across the water.
Hey, that kind of freaks people out, doesn't it? Yeah, some people get really freaked out by that. Okay, yes.
Water snake at tomato fields are very dogs.
They are.
And then when an animal tries to eat them, they pop up like a tomato, but then if they still try to eat them, they go out into the animal's mouth.
And guys, let's get back to talking about that. Remember how I was saying the toads or frogs blow up with air like a big balloon? Inside Puffy's mouth, he's a toad eater. And he has something really special that not all the other snakes have. In the very back of his mouth, he has two enlarged teeth. And what happens is when he bites that toad, those two teeth pop the toad. They hit him right where the glands are, and they're able to deflate the toad and swallow him. Isn't that amazing? So he's built just to be a toad eater.
Yeah.
And can I tell you guys a funny story? I grew up in the state of Oklahoma. That's where Puffy comes from. And I used to catch these on my way to school. So when I was your age, I used to walk to school in the morning, and sometimes I'd go hunt for these. Now, I didn't find them every day, but when I caught one, I'd take my sock off and I'd use it as a snake bag, and I'd sneak it into class, and I got to where the teacher started to check my desk and my locker when I got older, because I always had snakes and lizards and spiders. But this is my all-time favorite snake. Isn't it awesome?
That was the rattlesnake.
Do what?
That was that rattlesnake. He does look a lot like a
There,
rattlesnake.
in Oklahoma, there's a rattlesnake called the prairie rattlesnake. It gets about this big. Their pattern looks just like this. So I don't know if the pattern that Puffy has is just really good camouflage. I think it is because I had a hard time seeing them when I used to hunt them. Or if he copies that rattlesnake, there's a big fancy word called mimicry. Have you ever heard that before? There's a big fancy word. Maybe he's copying the rattlesnake so the other animals might look at him and go, hey, he kind of looks like that poison rattlesnake. I'm not going to mess with him. So it could be that too. Are you guys up for touching them?
Sure.
Okay. Now if I let you touch them, I don't want you guys to squeeze like that because it hurts them. Just touch like this, okay? And I know some people are scared of snakes. If you don't want them near you, you just tell me no thank you, okay? And I'll start down here. Yes. Yeah, just pat like that. Yeah. See? No.
Thank you for letting me cut you.
It does. See, a lot of people think they're slimy, but he's not, is he?
It feels weird. Yeah,
All right, did you guys, everyone got the touch you wanted to, right? All right, guys, can you say goodbye to Puffy?
Bye, Puffy. Get some fast so he can be Puffy. His name's Puffer.
Okay. That Puffy. Now, when snakes get mad or scared, a lot of snakes, remember how I talked about how they had those sharp teeth? A lot of snakes will reach out and try to bite you when they're scared and say, hey, don't mess with me. But Puffy, his type, the hog-nosed snakes, they put on a big show and they huff and puff. They flatten their neck like a cobra. And and they strike out, but they strike with their mouth closed and hit you with their nose. And so that's why he got named Puffy, because he's that type of snake when he's angry. He just gets all huffy and puffy like that. Well, actually, the next one I wanted to talk about. Oh, bless you. Were you coughing or sneezing? I thought you were sneezing. But guys, my next friend, they actually thought was extinct. Do you guys know what extinct means?
Yeah, he's not alive.
Like gone forever, like dinosaurs, right? Yes.
Today a lady came to my class and then she showed us animals that people thought were extinct, but then they were actually a lot of
Cool. Do you remember any of them that she talked about?
No, but I know one. I know one that you talked about. But there was, it was like a little shrimp.
A little shrimp?
Yeah, it was a little shrimp.
Oh, but you don't remember what it was?
Yeah.
Well, I'd be curious. I'll have to look that up and see if I can figure
It was
out.
like a shrimp this big, but I have 2 fossils this big.
It's pretty cool. How many animals did you learn about?
A lot actually.
A lot. Do you remember any of them?
I'm in her class.
Oh, yeah. What? Do you remember any of them?
All the second graders did it.
Yeah.
And I think it was a kind of turtle or they thought of platypus.
Galapagos?
Yeah.
Yep, Galapagos tortoise. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a mixture that is actually an alligator wrapped around the planet. That's what that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But guys, let's meet this animal. This is named Gordon, and people thought these guys were extinct, gone forever. So like some of the animals you guys talked about today. Let me get him out of here. Where are you? Hey, Gordon.
Oh, I think I know. See?
What do you think?
I think he was I knew it was I knew he was like a that is so cute.
Isn't he? Now guys, this is a gecko lizard. Now the type of gecko lizard he is, he's a crested gecko. And he comes from this island way out, have you ever heard of the Pacific Ocean?
Yes.
He comes from this island way out in the middle of nowhere called New Caledonia. And they thought that these guys were extinct, gone forever. But what happened is some people visiting from Germany, I believe, actually found a few, and they took them back to Germany, and they were able to let them get married and have lots of babies. And it went from an animal that we thought was gone forever to an animal that you can go to a pet store now and buy one of these. Isn't that amazing? So from an animal that we thought didn't exist anymore to an animal that you can have as a pet now. Yes? Guys, a lot of lizards blink and have eyelids. Gordon doesn't have any. Now he has big eyes. Why do you think he might have those big eyes? Yes?
Scare people away. To see better.
To see better at night, right? We're talking about nocturnal animals. Yes?
I have a snake shirt.
You have a snake shirt? You wear it ever?
Sometimes I wear it.
Sometimes?
Yeah, you can use this and it looks like it's bubbly.
Oh, that's funny. Now guys, oh yes, did you have something to share?
I did a project last year in 4th grade on a sugar glider.
Uh-huh.
And they're also nocturnal, so they have big eyes too.
That's right. And that helps him see at night. Now these guys, you see how he has like those little crusts on him? That's where he gets the name, the little like spikes on him. And see his color? Have you ever heard the word lichen? Lichen is like moss that grows on a tree. So that's kind of what that pattern looks like. So he can blend in with the tree pretty good and almost be invisible. And what was that big fancy word for animals that can do? Camouflage. That's his camouflage. Now, we were talking about eyelids. He doesn't have eyelids. But do you guys know why we blink a lot? Why we blink? Do you know why we blink?
Because we have eyelids, but like lizards and snakes don't have eyelids, so they just have to keep their eyelids open.
Well, let's talk about that. Snakes don't have eyelids. They actually have a clear goggle over their eye that protects it. Okay? So they can never blink. Most lizards have eyelids and can blink like us. But we blink to keep our eyes moist and clean. Now, he doesn't have eyelids, so to keep his eyes clean, yes?
He licks it.
That's right. He licks his eyeballs. Now, besides licking them to keep them nice and moist and clean, it does something else. Did you guys know animals talk to each other?
Yeah.
Did you guys know? Do they use a language like us? Words? No, but they do something else. Guys, did you know we can talk without using words or hand signs? Did you know that? Like, if I wanted to, if your friends all walked in the room and you knew they were all happy, show me what happy looks like. What if they were sad that day? What would sad look like? Yeah. What about angry? Yeah. How about excited? So see, we can talk without words. We can talk with our faces and how we look. That's what animals do. Now, when he's licking his eyeball, he can actually talk to the other geckos around him. And I don't know what it means. If he licks his eyeball a certain way, he's saying, hey, you're in my space. Or if he sees a pretty girl gecko, he might lick his eye a different way and say, hey, you look really pretty. But that's how they talk to each other. Isn't that funny? Now, he is a good jumper. But I'm going to let you guys touch him. He has very thin skin, so I want you guys to take one finger like that for touching, and just touch him gently like this. And if he jumps, just freeze and I'll get him, okay?
Cute.
All right, and I'll start at this end.
He jumps on your paw. He looks like
So one finger for touching. How can you feel his skin is actually really thin? Can you feel that?
Yeah.
He's a good climber, too. You don't want to take him. It is, right? All right, so guys, looking back at him, do you see how he's missing his tail? Now, do you know why he might be missing his tail? Well, he has a tail, yes. You're close. Guys, did you know most lizards can break their tails off and it'll grow back?
Yeah.
Now, the reason they can do that is, let's pretend that Gordon... Yes?
So if a lizard's in trouble, the tail can fall off, and then the animal will think that it's dead and it will want to eat the lizard.
That's right. Or it does something else, too. What happens is, let's say I was an animal hunting Gordon, and Gordon knew it. He can actually make part of his tail fall off, okay? So the tail would fall off, you know, his tail's already falling off, see? But what would happen is when his tail falls off, it starts to wiggle. Now the hunting animals, they are very visual. They like to see things. So the tail will wiggle, and so the hunting animal is going to stare at that wiggling tail, and you know what Gordon's going to do? That's right. He's going to sneak away while I'm staring at that tail. And that's the strategy or a plan to protect himself. Now the tail usually grows back, but unfortunately for Gordon, his tail broke in a spot where it's not going to grow back. You know, it's grown back a little bit. All right, guys, can you say goodbye to Gordon?
Bye, Gordon. Who starts with the G.
G, that's right.
And it won't go back.
All right, guys, come on back over. Yes. All right. That's right. All right, so guys, here, relax. Hey, come on back over. Guys, this is my friend Rosie. And Rosie is a tarantula. So she's a big spider. Now, she's a nocturnal animal, so she's active at nighttime. And she does have little hairs on her body. Now, what's amazing about that is they do a couple things. One is it's her sense for feeling around at night. She doesn't have big eyes like Gordon, right? She has little tiny eyes. She has lots. She has 8 eyes. But guys, what happens is those little hairs on her body, when she's walking around, they feel the vibration. And what's your name? Decker, did you say that one for a minute? All right. Could you walk in front of everyone and stomp on the ground? And guys, tell me if you feel it when you stomp it. feel the vibration? Can you guys feel that a little bit? Put your hands on the floor like that. All right, now walk around. Don't step on their feet, but stand hard on the ground. Can you guys feel the vibration in your hand a little bit? All right. A little bit, right?
Should I do it too or something?
No, do it down here so they can feel too.
And I didn't really feel it that
Can you guys just feel it a little bit? What, really? I think you can feel it in my feet. But guys, what I'm trying to get at though, is guys, when he stomps on the ground, it travels through the ground and you can feel it. Well, she can feel it in her little hairs. They're very sensitive. And so she knows what's going on in front of her. So if an animal's walking around her, she can feel it. Now these hairs do something else. If she gets too scared, she'll take her back legs and she'll fling those hairs into the face of an animal or person that's bugging her. And those, yeah, you were telling me about that earlier. What happens is those hairs, if I use the word irritate, do you guys know what that means? Irritating, right? What it means is if those hairs get in your face or eye, they'll make you really itchy and scratchy. Yeah, you can sit down now. I'm sorry. Thank you. So when I bring her around for you guys to look, we're not going to touch her, but look at those hairs. Those are what she feels with. But look at her bottom back there. You can see it's kind of bare. That's from her getting scared and shooting those hairs.
Hello, little
Do you see how she's bald on her bottom back there?
You're really scary.
Yes.
She's gonna kill me. Kill me. She's gonna kill me. Dun, dun, dun.
Do you see that?
Don't let CPR. Don't do that.
All right, now guys, can I tell you something about spiders that I really admire a lot? Is they are really good moms. And I bet you guys all have good moms, right? Most people have good moms.
Moms, feed me.
Now, what happens is when it's time for her to have babies and to lay eggs, she'll take her web and she'll spin a web into a ball about this big. And inside it, she'll lay her eggs. Like 100 eggs. Sometimes even more. So inside that little ball will be all her eggs. And then Rosie will actually sit on top of it and protect it. Okay? When her babies hatch, now she doesn't feed them or anything, but the babies hatch, they hang around her for a couple days, but then they go off and they're very protective. Good moms. Very good moms. Very protective.
Mom is karate, and she says if a robber comes, she is gonna kick him and then throw him out the window.
Well, that's good to know. That you got a good, strong mom. All right, guys. Can you say goodbye to Rosie?
Bye, Rosie. Bye, Rosie. Tarantula, and I'm scared of you. Bye.
All right. So this animal is another nocturnal animal, and her name is Mrs. Prickles. And I am actually going to have to wake her up because she's asleep right now.
I like prickles.
Rosie's got this one. Yes.
I know what it is. It's a hedgehog.
You're right. It is a hedgehog.
Oh, the hedgehog.
All right. Let me get her out. Oh, hey, sweetheart.
Ouch! Does he hurt? Does he hurt? Does
Yeah,
he
be careful, guys. We don't want her to shoot all her quills at you. You think she can do that?
Yes.
No, but good guess. Guys, she can't shoot her quills. When she's scared, what she does is she'll stick them all out and roll up in a ball, and when you try to pick her up, it hurts. Or if you were a hungry animal and you tried to eat her, big problem, right? But this is a little hedgehog. She is called an African pygmy hedgehog. Yeah, we're going to get to feel her in a second. But guys, she's nocturnal, so that means what? What'd she do? You guys remember? Yep.
Spikes.
Does she stay up all night?
Yes.
Yes. Now the type of animal she is, she's nocturnal, that's her activity. But the type of animal she is, she's a funny animal called an insectivore. So if I told you she's an insectivore, what do you think she likes to eat? How about right here? Insects, bugs. So she's a bug eater. So she stays up all night and eats bugs. So she's got that little nose for sniffing. She's got the quills for protection. Yes. Do you guys want to touch and feel her?
Yes.
All right. Now, if you touch her, a lot of people tell me it feels like a hairbrush. You guys have touched a hairbrush before, right? So if you go like this, hairbrush. If you want to go backwards, you can feel some of the prickles. Just don't poke her like this. Now to me, what she feels like, you guys have to wash dishes at home? Yeah, I usually wash the dishes. It feels like the scrubby that I use to wash my hands with. So it won't hurt you if you go like this. And I'm going to start at this end this time, since I started down there. And if you don't want to touch, tell me no thank you.
All of you. What?
Feel some of the prickles when you went back? Yeah.
Hi, Freckles. I'm not cutting. I'm Mrs. Freckles. What?
All right, guys, you can just stay down there. I'll talk to you. They are porcupines are bigger.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Now, I heard a couple of you guys mention porcupines, like a porcupine. Porcupines, we have a couple at the zoo. Porcupines are a little bit different. Porcupines are related to mice, but they're also nocturnal. Do what? Oh, it's just, that's actually some of the sawdust from her cage that she lives in. But porcupines have longer quills, about like this. They actually have hooks on them, or little barbs, so when you touch them, it's like a sticker, and it'll actually stick into you. But you guys saw that didn't happen with her, right?
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different. But they don't shoot out like darts. Yes? Do what? Yeah, just, I'm not sure where the, just ask the teacher if it's okay. Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Can you say goodbye to Mrs. Prickles?
Mrs. Freckles, who feels weird.
She does.
And who is really cute.
All right, now guys, I brought my very best friend today. Well, it kind of looks like it. It is a skunk, and his name is Simon. So you guys might want to hold your noses just in case, okay? Even though he's my best friend.
Oh my God, that's
All right. Are you guys ready to meet him? All right.
Stinky. Oh, he's actually got cute. Oh my God.
All right, did you guys want to get stinky?
No.
No. Guys, I'm actually teasing you. Simon is a skunk, but the doctor took his stinky stuff away, okay? So we're safe. I was just teasing. Yes. Yeah? I remember. Yes.
Yeah, like the perfume.
Wait, guys.
One time I was riding in my dad's car and we were going to my house and in the road there was a dead skunk and when my dad drove over it, it smelled so bad. It was disgusting.
And it is. But that's their protection, is to smell bad. Yes?
The stuff that they spray is called musk.
Yep. Yes, how about right here?
Mom, there used to be skunk because his eyes were closed. And when I was
The rescue people? Yeah. And guys, I would love to be able to have a skunk as a pet, but you can't because they catch a disease called rabies. Have you ever heard of rabies before?
Yes.
And they can catch it really easy. And just second, because I know what you want to say. So guys, when the doctor took his stinky stuff out, you know what they did with it?
I know, they make perfume.
That's right. Is that what you were dying to tell everyone?
Yes.
They do. Isn't that crazy?
Weird.
Yes.
What's my mom used to same thing, and she made over the skunk and smell.
It does, because when they die, they release all their stinky stuff. Now, oh yes. Do you guys want to pet him? All right. Now, guys, you have to promise me. I know you guys are older, but the promise I make everyone take is if you touch Simon, one is you're just going to touch him here on his back, okay? But the other is it okay to go touch other skunks? No, and you guys promise you won't try to touch other skunks, right?
Who would want to
I know, but I just some people might think that it's okay because I'm letting you touch him. But Don't try to touch any other skunks, okay? Because you'll
People
definitely
hear
get
it
sprayed.
in kindergarten.
That's right. Oh, guys, can I tell you something funny about Simon? He does not know the doctor took his stinky stuff out. So whenever he has a bad day, you guys ever have a bad day?
I had a bad day when my sister almost pooped on me.
Well, that sounds like a pretty bad day. But guys, we all have bad days or grumpy days, right? Well, he does all the things a grumpy skunk does. So if you see a skunk do this, you know he's getting upset with you, okay? The first thing he does is he slaps the ground with his front feet like that, okay? And that's his first sign. Did you guys do that when you were little? Did you stop the beat when you were angry? Yeah, I think I did too. But the second thing he does is he starts to arch his back like a kitty cat. Have you ever seen a kitty cat arch his back up?
I have 2 cats.
So you've
Two
seen
kitty
it,
cats.
right?
I have 2 sisters.
Oh, hey guys, the last thing, guys, this is the last warning you're going to get is that tail comes up. And they shake it and make it really bushy like that. And if you guys see that, you better be running because you're about to get sprayed. But that's the protection. That's how they do this.
They get sprayed
But
like
at the
this
zoo,
before
what's so
my
funny
birthday.
is when Simon's grumpy like that, and he looks back at me like, hey, I just sprayed Scott. He's still there. Why is that? I just think it's so funny, the look on his face. All right, are you guys up for touching?
Yeah.
All right. So guys, remember, you made a promise. Don't touch other skunks, and don't touch Simon on his head or face. Just back here.
My dad can run like this.
You know, there are some people who actually like that.
Smelly skunk. Both Simon is smelly skunk. Whoa. Yeah. I'm going to see Simon smelly skunk.
You can, but you have to be careful because there's vaccination. All right, guys, did everyone touch you wanted to? All right, guys, come on back over. Hey, we only got a couple more animals to meet. Come on back over. Guys, do you smell that animal smell? It's actually Simon. It's kind of his animal smell. It's not his stinky spray smell. But he does. He has a musky smell. I kind of like it, though. Yes?
Once my grandmother's dog, well, she got her dog a whiskers. Yeah,
Wait, hold on one second. All right, hey, boys, come on back over.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. She was just telling a story about a dog who got bit by a skunk. Go ahead.
My grandmother didn't know if the skunk had rabies or not. She didn't know if her dog had been bitten or not. So, then she tried washing his mouth out. And then she got some drool on her leg. So then they both had to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
They had to get a rabies test, but the skunk didn't bite her dog, and the skunk didn't.
That's good. And that's good. And that happens sometimes because if they're not sure, what they do is they usually take a dog and they'll put him in the doctors in a cage in a kennel and watch to make sure he doesn't catch it. And that's usually what they do. Yes?
One time, my dog, it was close to Thanksgiving.
Yeah?
It was like about a couple days away from here. My dog was on barking at this turkey. It was on the road.
Yeah.
The turkey came to my driveway and started pecking him, and he came inside, and I saw he was bloody and stuff.
And guys,
That's
turkeys,
cool.
you guys should be careful. If you see turkeys, a lot of people think turkeys are dumb or not that smart. They're a pretty bright bird. And the boy turkeys, if you go around the girl turkeys, they might attack you and try to peck you like that. So you got to be careful around the turkeys. Now, one more thing before we put Simon up. He is a nocturnal animal, so they're active mostly at night. And do you see his great big claws?
Do they hurt?
No, what they are, they're tools.
They dig.
That's right. Do you know what he happens to dig for?
He digs for baby beetles.
That's right. And what do we call baby beetles? They have a funny name. You guys know? Grubs. Have you ever heard that word before? Yeah, those are baby beetles. That's his favorite food. That's why he's got such good diggers. Yes? Yes?
Was it in my class last year? told me a story about he had like a shed or a barn, and then he had a lot of like bugs that skunks eat, but they weren't his pets. So then a skunk went in, and he was eating the bugs, but then his mom and his dad, they didn't want the skunk
Yeah, I wouldn't either,
in the
right?
shed.
Yeah.
So then his dad went in to try to like take the skunk out of the shed, and then he got scared.
Yeah, you guys, that can happen. Skunks will be pretty patient, but if they get scared really quick, they'll go off like a stink bomb really fast. So sometimes they'll be patient with us around, other times they can just lose it. Yes?
Why the 3 back ones on that door?
Do what?
Why the 3 back ones?
You know, it's because, so when you're standing outside, you'll see the 3, and you'll know that it's number 3 door, that's why. But it's backwards to us because it's on the glass, right? All right. Guys, can you say goodbye to my best friend? Say bye, Simon.
Bye, Simon, the stinky skunk. Jinx. Wait,
It's not that
Aww.
All right, now my next friend is not a nocturnal animal, but it's a little bit different. And I brought it because it's a funny type of animal. But it also happens, guys, it also happens to be the softest animal in the world, too.
Chinchilla.
You're right, a chinchilla.
Oh, it's that little fluffy creature.
Now
Can I tell you
this-
something? It looks like a giant. Can I tell you something?
Wait, just a second, go ahead.
Chinchillas can actually squeeze into like rocks, so like birds or something can't even like kill them.
That's right, that's one of their protections, one of their superpowers. Yes. And guys, a lot of people think that they're just pets. Yes. Wait, boys, come on back over. Well, let's talk about that. Guys, a couple things. First, we'll talk about that. But first, I wanted to talk about, we're talking about nocturnal animals, animals that are active at night. These guys are a funny type of animal. They're a little bit different. They come out early dawn, and then they're active at dusk, at sunset, when the sun goes down. And there's a big fancy word for animals that do that. You guys happen to know that big fancy word? I'll just tell you, it's called crepuscular. Have you ever heard that word before? And all it means is like, this is Princess Coconut. Princess Coconut's active at early dawn and at dusk at sunset. And that's what crepuscular means. She's active at those 2 times. Do what? Yeah? Now, what? I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Declan. Now, Declan mentioned about that she can flatten out like that and squeeze her skeleton down. Do you guys want to see if she'll do that?
Yeah.
I don't know if she will. Can I show
And she can do like a little back there.
Well, let's watch and see. Can I show him, sweetheart, your little special thing? She can squish flat like a pancake.
Yeah, and in that sand, she does like floats around in it.
Yeah, and we'll see in a second. But guys, the reason she flattens out like that is where she lives. It's very rocky. And if an animal's hunting her, she can squeeze down into the rocks to get away from them. Okay, that's one of her protections. Now, her other protection, do you see how her tail is kind of shaped like a squirrel? Do you guys see that? No, yeah, squirrels are bigger tails, but this is built for balancing on those rocks. And she's very good at balancing on heads. Is there anyone who wants to let her balance on their head? All right, so if you want to do that, come line up on this white line here. Stand right here. And look that way. All right. And we'll see if Princess Coconut will balance on your heads. Do you girls want to do that? No? Okay. So I'll start here. And let's see. I have to keep my hands closed because she's also a good jumper, too. All right, sweetheart. Good job. No. All right, it's Declan, right? Okay, hold still for me. Don't move around. All right, are you ready? Oh, don't touch her while I'm doing it, okay? Because you'll scare her. All right, good job.
Looks like a giant mouse.
giant mouse, doesn't she?
I'm a big giant mouse. It was a
Did you get that picture?
A skunk. Oh, that tickles.
And feel how light she is? She's
I
very
am?
light.
Yes, you are. Why are you screaming?
In a second we'll touch her, but not while she's sitting on the head, okay? Alright. Good job. Did everyone do what they wanted to? Alright, so come on back over. We'll sit down. Alright, so, hey boys. Guys, relax. Hey, relax. I need you guys to do me a favor, okay? She can get scared from your energy, so I need you guys to relax for a minute. So we're going to take a couple deep breaths, okay? So everyone, let's all do it together. Wait, just a second. Here we go. Relax. One more. Relax. Now I can let you guys touch, okay? When you touch her, don't poke her nose because she might think you're feeding her. But guys, stay relaxed, okay? And I'll start down here and I'll come see you guys in a second. She is the softest.
Feel like fog.
Is that awesome? I think so. All right, guys, did you feel how soft she was? All right, now you were asking about getting wet, or what happens is her hair is different than other animals. Even on us, where the hair grows out, there's a hole called the follicle, and there's one hair that grows out like that. But on her body, what happens, her hair is split off into 100 split ends, and it makes each one of her hairs like a feather. And so that's why she's so soft. But what happens is if she gets wet, those feathers collapse, and she can actually lose body heat and catch a cold. So what she has to do is, what Declan was saying, she has to take a dust bath or a powder. Now I brought her bathtub. I don't know if she'll scrub up. You want to see if she'll scrub up for us? All right, let me go get it. Here we go. And let's see if she'll show us how she likes to scrub up. She did it. I wasn't sure she would. And what she's doing is getting that powder in those feather hairs and making them so poopy. All right, sweetheart.
Is there one more? Because of that big check.
Yeah, we got one more animal to meet. So guys, say goodbye to Princess Coconut.
Bye, Princess Coconut.
All right, so you're right. One more animal to meet, and this is my friend Grumpy. You guys up for meeting Grumpy?
Yeah.
All right. So guys, before I bring Grumpy out, boys, could you come down here and sit right here for me?
Yes.
Sit right down here for me. All right. Yes.
Is Grumpy an alligator?
He is an alligator. Now, sit down and relax, guys.
I love alligators.
All right, now this is another animal, just like Princess Coconut, that can feel your energy. So I need you guys to take it down a little. So let's take a couple deep breaths. All right, let me go get it. So stay relaxed.
Is he scared?
He is. It scares him when he comes out and meets people.
Is he tiny or what? He's cute, right? Whoa. Last year, Grumpy chased us. Last year, Grumpy, you let him on the ground and he chased like all the boys. Why did you take?
Guys, I put tape on his mouth because I'm going to let you guys touch him in a minute. And that's just protection. It's not that he would bite us. But if he's scared, sometimes he can. So I have the tape on there. And I leave it on until I get back to the zoo just in case I have an accident. That way the firemen or policemen don't have to deal with Grumpy without any tape. Oh, he's hissing. He is grumpy. Are you okay? Now, remember when I was talking about Rosie the tarantula? And I was telling you what a good mom she is? Guys, mommy alligators are awesome moms too. And what will happen is a mommy alligator will make a nest about this tall out of sand and leaves. And what's really cool to me is it's just like a dinosaur nest. It's really cool. All the dinosaur nests they found are just like crocodile and alligator nests. Now what will happen is she'll protect that nest. And it usually takes the baby 60 to 90 days to hatch. And guys, that's a long time. That's 2 to 3 months. That's like your whole summer break that she has to sit there and protect those eggs. What will happen though is when the babies hatch, they make a funny sound. It sounds like this. Rrr, rrr. And when mommy alligator hears it, she digs into the nest and she takes her big, powerful jaws and she picks those babies up so gently and she carries them down to the water and lets them go. And she'll come back and get more and carry them down to the water and let them go until she has all her babies in the water. And once they're there, if they get in trouble, they cry that same cry. Rrr, rrr. Mom, come help me. And it doesn't even have to be her baby. Any baby alligator she hears. They're awesome, awesome moms. Very protective. Now, this is the last animal today. What I want you guys to do, I'm not going to carry him around because he's bigger, but if you guys want to touch him, I want you to line up behind my big stinky foot. And then take turns, and I just want you to touch roughly on his back, okay? All right, you can walk by. And you guys just came in, you can come over and touch the alligator too if you want. Yeah, just go sit down after you touch. I don't know that. Oh, just wait here, because we're going to wash our hands, okay? All right. Just a second, I'll get it for you, okay? In a second. Hey guys, once you touch, go on by and sit down. He can't wait.
I'm going to 2 times.
No, guys, go ahead and sit down. I'll pass it around in a second, just so I make sure everyone watching. Except for you can't use it, right? If that soap doesn't bother your hands, you can. You told me the hand sanitizer bothers you. Hi. I'm sorry. Guys, the question is, would a boy alligator come to the rescue of a baby if it's the dad that's in the territory or space? But usually, the boys, they don't care so much. But if it's the father, then it's in his space, they'll take care of him. All right, guys, can you say goodbye to Grumpy? All right, so guys, let's wash our hands real quick. You can't use this, right? It bothers your skin, but we'll get us to work. And I don't know if I will be the teacher that comes back for any more of the classes, but I have to tell you guys, thank you so much. I had a really good time. You guys were really great. I hope you have fun. Yeah, and hopefully I do get to come back. But guys, I hope you have an awesome night. Everyone gonna wash your hands, right? All right.